Welcome to this explainer, where we are going to break down the comprehensive research on Indian metals giant Vedanta Ltd. We're looking at a company that sits right at the heart of India's massive infrastructure and industrial boom. But here's the thing, it also presents one of the most hotly debated investment theses in the market today. So let's get into it.
Okay, to start, we really need to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this enormous conglomerate. If you follow global commodities at all, you've definitely heard their name. They are an absolute titan in the natural resources sector. But to truly figure out whether this company is a sneaky value trap or a massive once-in-a-decade opportunity, we have to look past the corporate branding and dig directly into the hard data.
Here is our roadmap for the analysis. We're going to cover 1. The Vedanta Empire. 2. By the numbers. 3. Is it undervalued? 4. Growth and the demerger. And finally, 5. The catch, focusing on risks and ESG. Let's jump in.
Starting with Section 1, the Vedanta Empire, India's largest and most diversified natural resources company. This conglomerate has an incredibly vast reach. Seriously, they're operating across almost every major metal and energy sector you can possibly think of. We're talking zinc, lead, silver, copper, iron ore, oil, gas, power, and steel. To put this in perspective, their capacity makes them the absolute largest aluminium producer in India. They operate the world's largest zinc-lead mine, and they run India's biggest captive power plant. The whole operation is backed heavily by promoter Anil Agrawal's Volcan Investments, which holds a very commanding 61.7% stake.
Now, to understand where they're going, we really have to trace their history because it's quite a story. They started from very humble beginnings back in 1976 when Anil Agrawal founded the business as a scrap metal dealer. Through some incredibly aggressive expansion and strategic acquisitions, like picking up Sesagoa in 2007 and Electro Steel Steels in 2018, they built the behemoth we see today. And this continuous aggressive evolution is actually culminating in a massive corporate action, a proposed demerger coming up in 2026.
Moving on to Section 2, by the numbers. Let's take a look at the 2024 to 2025 financial highlights.
So, the crucial takeaway here is their massive consolidated revenue for FY25, coming in at over 150,000 crore rupees. That is up roughly 6.3% year over year. And this top-line growth wasn't just accounting magic. It was actively driven by higher production volumes across their assets and some very favorable bumps in global metal prices.
But you know what's even more impressive? Their EBITDA. It's set at over 43,500 crore rupees, which represents a solid 19% increase from the previous year. Their adjusted operating margins hit a really healthy 34%. For a capital-intensive, highly cyclical industry like mining and metals, that is fantastic. Plus, they generated nearly 15,000 crore rupees in free cash flow, which proves this business can literally throw off a ton of cash when operations are humming along.
Now, for those of you heavily focused on income, pay attention to this. The board proposed a total dividend of 43 rupees and 50 paise per share for FY25. They actually have quite a history of maintaining regular dividends, and this specific figure reflects a very strong payout, making their dividend yield incredibly attractive right now relative to other large-cap companies.
Which naturally brings us to Section 3, is it undervalued? Let's analyze the stock's current market pricing.
There is a very stark contrast happening in the market right now. Look at this. Vedanta is trading at a steep discount with a price-to-earnings ratio of just 7.6x. When you compare that to industry peers like Hindustan Zinc or Hindalco, both of which are sitting way up at around 17.1x, the difference is glaring. The market is pricing in a massive discount for Vedanta.
Because of this extremely low valuation, the analyst consensus suggests some massive upside potential. The 12-month average target sits around 796 rupees. If that hits, we're talking about roughly a 160% upside from current levels. But, and this is a big but, it's super important to note that Wall Street analysts are very mixed here. The targets range wildly from as low as 268 all the way up to 1050. That incredibly wide spread tells us one thing loud and clear. There is a ton of uncertainty about the company's future execution and where the commodity cycle goes next.
Let's look at what could actually change that. Section 4, Growth and the Demerger. These are the catalysts for future value.
First off, they are riding some incredibly strong industry tailwinds right now. Indian copper demand alone is expected to grow by 10 to 12% annually, driven by massive infrastructure spending, the EV boom, and renewables. They're also benefiting big time from government policy support, like PLI schemes for specialty steel. On the corporate strategy side, they are actively monetizing assets to improve their liquidity. A great example is the recent January 2026 sale of a small stake in Hindustan Zinc for nearly 46 billion rupees, specifically aimed at bringing down debt.
But all of that builds toward their absolute biggest catalyst, the 2026 demerger. This is a massive corporate restructuring designed to split their major business units into separate, independent, publicly listed pure plays. We're talking totally separate companies for aluminum, oil and gas, and steel and power. The logic here is actually pretty simple, but very powerful. By separating these distinct businesses, the open market can value each one clearly, which could potentially eliminate that frustrating conglomerate discount that's currently weighing down the parent stock.
Okay, reality check time. Section 5, the catch, the risks and ESG realities of the mining sector. As the source explicitly states, investing carries inherent risks. We simply cannot look at a potential 160% upside without looking very closely at the downside risks that have kept that PE ratio pinned so low in the first place. Vedanta has some major hurdles to clear. It's a constant balancing act. You have to weigh the incredible rewards, like how their diversified portfolio acts as a natural hedge against any one specific metal dropping, plus their exposure to the booming battery metal demand. But you have to weigh that against the extreme roller coaster-like volatility of global commodity prices. Their earnings swing wildly based on London metal exchange prices and currency fluctuations. Add to that immense input cost pressures from fuel and power and constant regulatory risks, and you've got a very complex picture.
And here's another heavy reality we absolutely need to look at: their balance sheet leverage. They carry a gross debt of nearly 73,853 crore rupees. Wow. Now, while their net debt to EBITDA ratio has modestly improved to around 1.2x, carrying this level of debt means financing costs and refinancing risks are major, constant factors that management has to juggle. Especially in a high interest rate environment, this means a massive chunk of the cash they generate goes strictly to servicing debt rather than rewarding shareholders.
And when the commodity cycle turns against them, the impact is severe. Just look back at Q2 of FY23. Their net profit plummeted 61% year over year. Why? It was a perfect storm. Cooling global metal prices, soaring input costs that squeezed their margins, and a sudden government windfall tax on oil that led to a massive one-off loss. So remember, when the cycle dips, it dips hard.
Finally, we must neutrally report that the company has a very complex environmental, social, and governance history. The sector inherently faces environmental constraints, and Vedanta has dealt with some high-profile community opposition. Most notably, their Sterlite copper plant in Tamil Nadu was closed in 2018 following local protests, a case that actually remains in the courts today. There's also been historical scrutiny over insider transactions. However, the source data also highlights some recent, measurable improvements. In FY25, they achieved a roughly 96% recycling rate for high-volume waste. They increased their renewable power usage, and they logged a very strong safety rate of 1.32.
As a quick reminder, the research we've unpacked today explicitly notes this is for educational purposes only, and is not a direct buy or sell recommendation. Our goal with this explainer is purely to give you the structured data you need to understand the underlying mechanics of this fascinating business.
So, based on this deep dive, you have to ask yourself, will the 2026 demerger finally unlock Vedanta's massive trapped value, or will the crushing weight of their debt and a volatile commodity market pull the stock down first? It's a fascinating setup. Let us know what you think, and drop a comment on which stock we should analyze in our next explainer. Thanks for joining me today, and keep learning.